Hello there, sports gamers. Welcome back into the channel. I'm Brandon Satterwhite. Yesterday, EA Sports released their trailer and deep dive blog for College Football 25's gameplay, and there is a ton of information here to go over. So much to talk about with the wear and tear system, the abilities, the new revamped passing, the new blocking AI, option run game, just so much that seems to be changed with gameplay going into College Football 25. It seems like they're really trying to put those rumors of it being a Madden reskin to bed with how many changes and updates they're trying to make to the gameplay here. There's a lot to go over here, so let's get into it.
Sports Gamers Online is the #1 source for the sports gamer.
Hey guys, real quick before we get into the video, I wanted to make a little announcement. We have a new YouTube channel. It's called SGO Gridiron. So if you like football content, if you love Madden, if you love college football, make sure to go check that out. Content over there is going to be a little bit different than what you see over here on the main SGO channel. SGO Gridiron is going to feature more of us actually playing the game. So there's going to be a lot of franchise rebuilds, a franchise series, you know, playing some of the older Madden games. There's a video over there right now where I just ramble for like 20 minutes about the Madden 05 Collector's Edition. There's another one up over there where I tried to rebuild the Patriots after Bill Belichick left. So make sure you go check that out if you like that sort of content. And also, if you like seeing us actually playing the games that we talk about, make sure you also follow us over on our Twitch channel. We've been streaming a lot of MLB The Show over there lately, but with college football coming around the corner this summer, and then Madden, of course, will follow after that. We're sure to be working that into the rotation a little bit more. So make sure you go subscribe to the SGO Gridiron YouTube channel and also follow us on twitch.tv/sportsgamersonline. I'll leave links to both of those in the description of this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and let's get back to it. All right, so the first big thing that I'm really excited about is this new wear and tear system here that they've been talking about. And so basically what it is, a new injury system. I wouldn't say injury, really, more like just damage system, because you can have like a hurt shoulder but not be injured. I guess it's that old saying, are you hurt or are you injured, like you'd hear in football. And, you know, so what it is basically every body part on a player is linked with certain attributes. So like with your quarterback, their throwing arm is linked to their throw power, throw accuracy, and such. So if they start taking a bunch of really hard hits to their throwing arm, then you're going to see their throw power and throw accuracy diminish over the course of the game. And that's really interesting to me. We've never seen it where players can take damage but not be injured, I guess, in that way. And I'm really interested to see how this works, because now it's going to really put an emphasis on protecting your players, which is a bit of a level of strategy I don't think we've ever had really in a video game. And so you can see here the different levels that they have on these different players. So you have this tight end here, you know, he's taking some slight damage to this arm, to this leg. Quinn Ewers, the quarterback, you know, he's been hit in the chest, but his arms look good, his feet look good, so, you know, him running and scrambling and throwing shouldn't be diminished that much. The receiver, you know, he's got some damage here on the foot, so he might be a little bit slower. And then you've got this running back here that's just taken all sorts of damage. It says risk of injury severe. He's got his legs hurt, his arms hurt, his chest hurt. Everything's hurt on this guy. So that's really interesting to see. And especially with running backs, I have been wanting to have a good way to do running back by committee in a football game for a long time now. And sort of the auto subs mechanic in Madden and even in NCAA when it was still around back in the day never really worked how you wanted it to. It was always very clunky. It was very difficult to get it to work to where you would have somewhat accurate snap counts for players and backups and such. And so hopefully with this wear and tear system, you're going to start seeing players subbing in and out more often. And that's really common, especially in college football, where you see players like running backs, like wide receivers, like defensive linemen subbing in and out pretty regularly. And hopefully we finally get to see that here this year. Another thing that I really like about this is that at least it sounds like in Dynasty mode that the damage you sustain in one game is going to carry over from game to game. And it said players will gain health when they're not on the field, during timeouts, at halftime, and between weeks. So It's interesting. You might be more strategically using timeouts, less so for clock management, and more so maybe to, get your quarterback's arm, a little bit of a break. Or if his arm is hurt, you may focus more on the run game for a couple of plays to sort of help him work off a stinger that he took or something like that. And they also said that a player's workload is also going to be a contributing factor to this. So they mentioned, like, if you're throwing the ball 40 to 50 times a game, then your quarterback's throwing arm is going to degrade more rapidly. And that's also interesting. So you're going to have to manage how you're playing, what your strategy is, with making sure your guys are physically able to withstand it as well. The next thing they talk about here in the blog post is the option game. A lot of new things added to the option, and they talk about, the option and the read and the pitch, and a lot of it's just kind of go over the basics of it. They talk about RPOs will be much more usable this year, which I'm really looking forward to seeing if they can get the RPOs correctly. They've had RPOs in Madden for the last couple of years, and they've either been super overpowered or just completely broken where they're completely unusable. Hopefully they find that good balance this year. One thing I did really like is that they have different pitch options this year. So if you hold the pitch button, you're going to get what they call a strong pitch, and it says suitable for when there's ample time between you and the approaching defender. It requires more time but offers precise accuracy and velocity. So if you're got plenty of space, you can make sure you're going to get the ball to your pitch guy accurately. It's not going to be, behind him or way out to the side. It's going to be right where he needs it so he can just keep on running. But if you've got the defender barreling down at your quarterback super fast and you got to get rid of that ball, you can just tap the pitch button and you'll do that quick pitch there as well. And then also you can fake pitch as well by double tapping. So I'm curious if fake pitching is going to be something we see a lot once the game actually comes out. And then defensively, they've added a lot more options for defending the option as well, which I really like. They said new AI logic has been added for the read and pitch keys, including new read key animations. The read key now considers more realistic context when deciding whether to crash or stay home. So for instance, they'll be more likely to stay home and play a quarterback when you're on the wide hash marks. However, if you're on like a 3rd or a 4th and 1 situation, they'll be more likely to play the dive back to try and prevent that short yardage situation where you're just looking to maybe get a yard or two and move the sticks. Also now there is the option in coach adjustments where you can adjust your option defense for both the read and the pitch keys separately. So if you want the read guy to play the running back and then the pitch guy to play the quarterback, you can set those up however you want. I really like that they've added it now where it's not just one option, there's separate for depending on which defender you want to adjust. And also the pitch key now, it can exhibit more varied behavior with the ability to bluff whether they're playing the quarterback or the running back. I like that a lot. I like the idea of, them trying to fake you out and make you sort of guess what you're going to be doing in the option defense. So I like that both they're adding more to the offense and the defense to counter, trying to keep it very balanced. That's something I really like to see. And this was something that I don't think got talked about a lot, especially in the trailer, but this is awesome to see. In play call, use the right stick while in formation view to command your secondary to position in a range of cunningly designed looks. You can range from high pressure cover 0 blitz to a backed off cover 4 look, so you can change the shell of your defense to sort of disguise what sort of look you're coming out in. I love that. That's something that, all real life defenses use. And the fact that we're finally going to be able to do that in a football game for real, I love that. And I cannot wait to see how that actually functions in game, especially against like CPU opponents when I'm playing Dynasty. If I do these different shells, is the CPU going to actually react accordingly like a real person would? And now for the big thing a lot of people are talking about is the new abilities. So there are 80 abilities coming to College Football 25. A few of them, it does seem, are coming over from Madden, but a lot of these seem to be fairly new, like Option King, Workhorse, Downhill. And so what they are is they're split up between either physical abilities or mental abilities, and each ability falls into different tiers. So it can be bronze, silver, gold, or platinum tier. And as you move an ability up between the tiers, it becomes more powerful, unlocks more situations where it's going to be triggered, I guess you could say. And a player can have up to 8 abilities, with 3 of them being mental, and then you can have up to 5 physical ones. So you can see Travis Hunter here, one of the best players in college football. He's maxed out. He's got 5 physical trades, 4 of them being platinum with a gold, and then he's got the 3 mental with 2 of them being platinum as well. But we don't know a ton about the abilities. We got to see a lot of their names, and then here you've got some descriptions for a couple of them. But really, we're just going to have to wait and see once we get the game, like which abilities are going to be, you know, the more preferred ones. It'll be interesting to see if any of them do come out incredibly overpowered. I know a lot of people were talking on Twitter about this field general one possibly being pretty overpowered, because what it does is it allows you pre-snap, especially at the platinum tier, allows players to see even disguised shells, albeit briefly. It's designed to ensure that the defensive player can make adjustments in response once it shows it. So what it'll do is it'll show super quick, like, what the defense is looking like for like a second or two, and then after that the defense will have time to adjust unless the quarterback just immediately hikes it. It's going to be interesting to see. I feel like that one might be one that a lot of people complain about a lot once the game actually comes out. One thing I really liked is this new coach vision. So when you pull it up, you know, you get this high overview of the whole field, and I really like this camera angle as well. I love this. It looks very all-22 style. You can see the whole field, get a good look at everything. And then here you can check out your player's composure. You can check out blocking, matchups, wear and tear. And then I think over here you can check out like D-line matchups, wide receiver corner matchups, stuff like that. You can check out abilities, composure and confidence, matchups, all sorts of stuff. So I really like that. I think that's going to be used a lot to sort of get a feel for how your team is matching up against the defense. And then the other big thing they talked about a lot was home field advantage. And of course, the stadium pulse meter is coming back from 2006. And they also have toughest places to play coming back as well. So that's going to be really cool to see. And basically with home field advantage, when you're the visiting team, you're going to have things like the squiggly lines on your routes. You're going to see things like the receiver icon not showing up correctly. Here you've got the squiggly lines as well. And they did talk about how your player's confidence and composure will affect this as well. So if you have a freshman receiver, they might be more affected than a senior receiver. And you can see here where like some of like this player, his icon's not showing up, but the other ones are. And also, like, if you have a freshman receiver and you're trying to hot route them, they might be more likely to not get the hot route than a senior defender with more composure in scenarios like this. So I think that's incredible. I love that layer of depth and realism to it, where you're trying to make the seniors and the upperclassmen play better than a freshman would in certain scenarios, regardless of what their attributes or their skills are. You know, just trying to be realistic about, you know, a freshman isn't going to have that same on-field experience in these high-leverage situations like someone who's been here for multiple years would. They also did some changes to pre-play controls. Finally, you have access to 12 hot routes without the need for an ability on your quarterback. You get all of these here that it's showing for every receiver. I did believe they say that there are different options for hot routes depending on where your receivers lined up. So if you have like an outside receiver, a slot receiver, a running back in the backfield, they'll have different options for hot routes there. They also said the risk factor for run committing has been toned down for defenses. So, you know, usually if you ran commit and the offense ran a pass and they were able to get it off, it was basically going to the house. Now run commit mechanic only affects players positioned in the box, so your outside defenders are still going to cover their receivers if it is a pass. And the other thing I really like was custom stems. So now if you have like a 5-yard in route, you can edit that route to be like a 10-yard in or a 15-yard in 5-yard increments. So that's something I really like, and I'm going to be interested to see what sort of route combinations people are able to come up with that. And they also talked about this revamped passing system that they're bringing in. It's similar to Madden's, but also somewhat different. So now throw power, they said, is not just about how far you can throw it, but also how hard you can throw it. And you have this meter that pops up, and basically if it's in the blue, you're going to be more accurate, and it's going to be a safer throw. Once you get into the yellow, and especially into the red areas, you're going to have it be more likely to be inaccurate as you throw the ball harder. And so that's going to be something that it's going to take some getting used to with that, I feel. It's going to be interesting to see if that system becomes more popular, or if people are more accustomed to sort of Madden's style recently, where you have, I think it's more of the, well, it's the power and accuracy, isn't it? Or is it just the accuracy meter? I can't remember. I haven't played Madden in a while, so I can't remember exactly what their meter represents. This is something a lot of people are really excited about, is this switch stick. So if you're playing like this underneath linebacker here, you can just flip the right stick in the direction of the player you want to swap to, and it'll swap you to that player to help you switch to the defender you need in order to make a play on the ball. And then they did say the hit stick is still in for the right stick. It'll switch from the switch stick to the hit stick once either the quarterback has thrown the ball or once they cross the line of scrimmage. I also talked about the tempo. So now you have, still a no huddle or chew clock options, but then they have a new option for tempo called turbo. And it says it encapsulates a rapid rush to the line style of play. In order for this to be effective, you need to snap the ball within the early stages of the play clock. You're essentially trading the ability to hot route and audible at the line of scrimmage for the advantage of the defense not being set and their defensive line being slower off the ball. I really like that, because even with, you've had the no-huddle offense obviously forever, but when you no-huddle, you go that up-tempo offense, you get the fatigue on the defense, but you don't get like that extra boost of them being like so much slower off the jump. So it's going to be interesting to see how much that actually affects defenders. I do love that they said in relation to clock management, AI decision making regarding timeout usage has undergone substantial revision, more accurately mirrors the strategic decision making of real life coaches. That was a huge problem back in NCAA Football 14, and even in Madden still they use timeouts pretty weird. Real-time coaching. So basically what this is all of the stuff that we've talked about that the player will have access to, now the CPU is also going to have access to. It says the AI now has access to the full range of adjustments, just like a human player would make. You can expect to see teams employ an array of adjustments such as shade techniques, showing blitz, run commits, QB contain, and spies, to name a few situational adjustments. They'll also recognize and adapt to your offensive personnel. If you're dominating team with the inside zone out of 11 personnel, you'll notice CPU tweaking their defensive line, providing a different look to potentially alter your play call. They're designed to be aware of your players' ratings and abilities. If you have an elite wideout, some teams might double him from the jump or match him with their top corner. So I like the AI being smarter and doing some of the stuff that you would see a real player do, just trying to make it more realistic. We'll see if that actually, happens in game. But if it does, that would be really awesome to see. They talk about how weather's going to have a much more harsh impact. The passing game faces considerable impact when playing under harsh weather conditions. Players will notice wobbly passes, impacted pack accuracy, and throw power are some of the other gameplay elements affected by the weather. Chances of increased drops and fumbles also rise under adverse weather conditions. The ball becomes slippery and harder to hold on to, increasing the risk of turnovers. There's a couple of little things they talk about. New 1-foot sideline catch animations added, walk to the line animations. All players on each side of the ball will walk to the line following the play call. Defensive pursuit has been refreshed in college to represent the wide range of player abilities. In real life, to track the ball carrier in space. Playmaker mechanic, right stick on pass play, has been revamped for increased response and control. That's awesome to see. And then play action will have more of an effect on defenders when called in run situations like first downs or less than 3 yards to the first down. And then the last thing I thought was pretty cool, they did victory formation. So now when the game's mathematically over and you take that first knee, you'll start to see players walking onto the field even with the clock running like you do in real life, and that they will simulate the following kneel downs to sort of speed up those end of game moments. So I thought that was pretty cool. So that's going to do it for this video, y'all. Just wanted to give you a bit of an overview over all of the gameplay features and updates that they came out with in this blog. By the way, shout out to whoever at EA made this blog. I was talking to the other guys here at SGO, and we all agreed this is by far the biggest, most in-depth, and most detailed dev blog that we've ever seen for a sports game. So shout out to the folks at EA putting a ton of work into this, putting all this detail in there so we can really get a feel for what this game's going to be like when it comes out in July. I'm pretty excited. I like a lot of the stuff we see here. Again, we'll see how much of it actually works and how much we see of it when we're actually playing the game. But from what it sounds like, it sounds pretty cool to me. Let me know down in the comments, what do y'all think of it? Are you excited for this game? Are you excited for the gameplay? What did you like? What did you not like about what we saw in this blog and in the trailer? Let me know down in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave it a like and also subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. And for all your sports gaming news and updates, stay tuned to Sports Gamers Online. I'm Brandon Satterwhite with SGO. Thank you for watching.